Well, after a sudden shower before the first race yesterday in the third round of the Formula Regional European Championship by Alpine, put the grid into panic and led to a dramatic race on the circuit and led to a new race winner, our 19th winner in Tuukka Tappinen. We are greeted by much better conditions today as we go racing for the second time here of round 3 at the Zandvoort circuit. Welcome everyone if you're joining us for the first time this weekend. Welcome to you if it's not your first time. Welcome back to you. My name is Chris McCarthy. A pleasure to have your company. A familiar sight at the front. If you are with us at qualifying, of course, you would have seen championship leader Rafa Kamara taking the session by storm, going half a second quicker than the rest of the field to get his 6th pole position in the championship. He is already over 50 points clear, despite the fact we're only at round 3 this season. He has a worst result of 2nd, and he's looking to now get his 6th win in this championship. He's joined by a different face on the front row, though. Brando Badua, who had a best qualifying result of 9th coming into this round, gets his first front row start and could get his first podium and the first win for Van Amersfoort Racing since they last won here last year with Kaz Havercourt. Alessandro Giusti got his first podium of the season yesterday to really kick-start his season. The Williams Junior not finding the form that we saw him have at times last year. We saw him stand on the top step at places like the Red Bull Ring, but Sandro Giusti, a great fight with the likes of Rafa Kamara. Could this be now the start of his season and title assault? Noah Stromstead went missing yesterday after what was a really good assault at Spa, where we saw him on the podium twice because of 2 rookie wins, and on the overall podium once with a 2nd place. Noah Stromstead, the top rookie once again in qualifying. He'll be looking to add to what would be his 4th rookie win. Yesterday's winner, Tuukka Tappinen, the Ferrari Driver Academy member and R-Race GP driver, will start this one from P5 in what was one of the closest qualifying sessions I think we've ever had. We've had 9 thousandths of a second between the top 3 in one of the groups, 16 thousandths of a second between the top 4. It was incredibly close. Tuukka Tappinen, as a result, will start from 5th. James Wharton did qualify this one in 3rd place. However, he has taken a 3-place grid drop for an unsafe rejoin on the exit of Hugenholtz corner whilst leading the race. He spun from leading the race, and after rejoining the race unsafely, he's now going to start this one from P6. Let's see what he can do. He'll be searching for redemption today, and he performed very, very well in qualifying, it has to be said. So did this man as well. Pedro Claro has been on fire all weekend, as is the Van Amersfoort team. We've got over 50 guests here today alone, and they've got all 3 cars in the top 10. You'll see another familiar car to the right of screen, but to the left and in the middle of your picture, McLaren Junior Ugo Ugachukwu. Very disappointed, I think he was, to have spun on the opening lap of the race yesterday, having qualified in P6. He's going to start this one in the top 10 and a chance to go for points, and he desperately needs them, it has to be said. He's been very much missing from the points when he's been qualifying inside them, but the American now a chance to really get inside them. To the right, you'll see 2 black and orange Van Amersfoort cars to the right of that papaya liveried car. One of them is Pedro Claro. The other one of them, Ivan Dominguez, who's been constantly qualifying inside the top 10. Him and Rafa Kamara always inside the top 10. They're the only 2 drivers out of the 34 drivers that have took part in this championship that can say they've qualified in the top 10 in every single session, and that is really impressive stuff. The Portuguese driver will start down on the 5th row of the grid, and alongside him will be Enzo Peugeot, the French driver, who's really flying with confidence, just like he did when he fought for that French F4 title last year with Evan Gilter. Well, we had an autograph session earlier with all 31 drivers present. It was a fantastic atmosphere as we support DTM here, and here's how those 31 drivers line up. Rafa Kamara and Brando Badua, the Italian, on row 1. Sandro Giusti and Noah Stromstead for RPM will be on row number 2. Tuukka Tappinen, yesterday's winner, alongside James Wharton, who's been on the podium this season, row 3. Pedro Clero, rookie winner yesterday, alongside McLaren Jr. Ugo Ugachukwu. Ivan Dominguez, a rookie winner himself once this season, alongside Enzo Peugeot for Santilok Racing. Red Bull Jr. with a lot of support this weekend. Enzo Deligny is alongside his countryman, Evan Gilter. Jesse Cadascado Jr. with his best ever qualifying is alongside Zach David. Then Nikhil Bora for MP Motorsport, and Spanish F4 champion Teofil Null. Matteo De Paula had his first DNF yesterday. He's alongside Kenato Lee, who got the best result of the season for G4 Racing. Then Nikita Bedrin, who got his worst result, as did Nico Lacorte. John Bennett got 16th on debut. Ricky Liu, also his worst result yesterday. Let's see what he can do. Valerio Rinicella was the other driver in that De Paolo incident. He's on row 12 with Giovanni Maschio. Edgar Pierre is going to be on row 13 with Lena Bula, who matches her best qualifying result since Monaco back in 2022. Then Roman Andriolo and Juan Datsoya come next, and it's Yaroslav Veselau and Nandavud Bidambakti. Marta Garcia gained 7 places yesterday, so watch out for her, the F1 Academy champion, going from the back of the grid. Right, let's see what we can do. There you can see the Zandvoort circuit right on the coastline, and it's bringing in a really strong crosswind. Incredibly windy today when the drivers were trying to sign autographs. That wind that's coming in as a crosswind across the side of the circuit, particularly it's going to be affected there at this camera angle reflects it perfectly. At Tarzan Corner, which is the first corner, Hugenholtz Corner, which is turn 3. Those are going to be the corners I think we really see it affected. As it's a crosswind, I don't think it's going to give an effect in terms of a slipstream, but we may see it affecting the drivers and the characteristics of the cars through turn 11, for example, 12, and round the back section. Now, push to pass was not activated yesterday. It was a joint decision between the teams, drivers, and race control to do that. Push to pass will become active, though, today. They will get to use that 5 times, up to 5 times throughout the race. It will become active after the first lap. It's a button on the steering wheel they can use once they reach 4th gear. It gives them an extra boost of power. We don't know when they use it. The other drivers don't know when each others are using it. If there's a safety car, it will become active as soon as they cross the start-finish line on a safety car restart. It's all about strategy when it comes to that. We saw a lot of drivers using it into turn 1 last year and into turn 11. This will be a 30-minute race plus the additional lap. The points go to the top 10, same as you get in Formula 1, albeit no points for fastest lap. This is round number 3. This is race 2. The grid was set from qualifying earlier. I think that's all you need to know. Apart from that, let's get this race underway, shall we? There's 31 drivers out there. 10 of them will score points. Who's going to stand on the top step of the podium? Well, the first on the grid is going to be Rafa Kamara. He's to the right of screen. To the left is Brando Badua. And we are go in the Formula Regional European Championship by Alpine here at Zandvoort. It's all about that race down to turn 1 and winning it comfortably in that red and white Prema is Rafa Kamara, and he leads us as a fight for 3rd place there. Noah Stromstead, that is, versus Sandro Giusti, and Sandro Giusti in the red and black ART car has won it as they come through Hugenholtz for the first time. Clean start all through the field. That looked like, to me, it looks like all 31 cars have got through safely. A cloud of dust in the background as they now come down through the roller coaster section of Zandvoort, as I like to call it, up through turn 7 and into turn 8 we swiftly are, as one of the Van Amersfoort cars there trying to get on the attack straight away. Tuukka Tappinen in the middle of your picture. Oh no, a spin. That's James Wharton has been tagged into a spin there. That's Zach David, who was on the grass having to take evasive action, I think, and James Wharton once again facing the wrong way round in a race at Zandvoort this weekend. Oh dear, well, James Wharton gets going. I think it was Ivan Dominguez is to the left of screen in the 89. The red, the black and orange Van Amersfoort car, and he's clearly been tagged into a spin there, James Wharton. I'm sure that one will be looked at. James Wharton is going to be so frustrated there. I'm not sure if Ivan Dominguez was trying to make a move. I think he was more defending than anything there, and it's just been a complete misjudgment. And James Wharton, the innocent victim in all of that. I'm not sure if Ivan Dominguez is going to be carrying damage there to the left front section of his car. Zach David, I believe it was, who had to take evasive action and did very well to do so. He's dropped places as a result, though, and gone back to 14th place. He was in the RHGP car as they now come into Hugenholtz in the red and black ART. We're side by side with one of the orange MP cars. That's Nikita Bedrin in the 11th, who is making ground there. Nikita Bedrin trying to come up the order. Great driving this from the number 11. He's fighting away with Evan Gilter as they come down the hill once more. So Bedrin trying to go up the order. That's a change for 11th place. Nikita Bedrin getting closer to the points here. Oh, lock up coming into turn 9 for Nikita Bedrin in the all-orange MP car. Well, Evan Gilter, oh no, that's John Bennett, our debut driver, and he's trying to find a place to safely park that car now. So I'm not too sure what's happened there. I can see Roman Andriolo has dropped down the field. I'm not too sure what's happened to Roman Andriolo and if those two incidents correlate, but he's dropped down the field himself, and there is now a safety car to clear this incident up. Well, John Bennett, unfortunately, will go no further in this race, and that's a real shame. He's been one of the standout drivers this weekend. Given he's come in making his debut, that's been a real shame for John Bennett, and it's going to bring out the safety car to get that incident cleared up. It does give a chance to the likes of Roman Andriolo and particularly James Wharton to catch up the field now, and you can see why the safety car is needed. John Bennett is in a very dangerous position there, despite the fact he might be off the racing line. That's an incredibly fast section of the circuit as they come through 5 and 6, where vision can be obscured slightly, and sometimes you see drivers being forced to take that pathway off the circuit if they're side by side. So absolutely the correct decision here to get the safety car out and get that car retrieved into a safe position for the safety of the drivers. James Wharton in to repair some damage, maybe slot on another tyre to that car, and he's back out again, maybe a puncture that he might have been carrying. The incident between he and Ivan Dominguez has been noted, and that is no surprise at all. I imagine that will be looked at further post-race if we don't see any more notices on it. Well, we're left with Rafa Kamara leading the way. Brando Badua trying to get that first win for Van Amersfoort since they won here with Kaz Havakil last year. Sandro Giusti third. Noah Stromstead in the orange and green RPM in the middle of your picture there. He's the lead rookie driver. Of course, we do have a rookie championship, which is made up of overall points. Then Tuka Taponen in 5th place. Ivan Dominguez 6th, Pedro Claro 7th, Enzo Peugeot 8th, Ugo Ugachukwu in 9th place, Enzo Deligny 10th. We've had some fantastic rookie champions over the year. One of them in particular, like Isaac Hadjar, who's now fighting for the title in Formula 2. So rookies are as one to watch as the overall drivers as well, as we can see the field now filtering through. Martinius Stenchon, our rookie champion from last year, fighting away in Formula 3 now. Right, eyes on the restarts. Rafa Kamara leading them rounds. Let's see what we can do. One driver went early yesterday. One driver left it until right until the start-finish line. That was the two different approaches we saw in terms of restarts from Wharton and Taponen. Let's see what Kamara does with his restart. Kamara's going to take us round the banking, it seems. Perhaps a case of running the clock down, perhaps a case of knowing that the fact that we've got push to pass, which is going to become active as soon as we cross the start-finish line. And I think Giusti wants to make use of that. Push to pass is now active, of course, and looks like Sandro Giusti might want to use it but they know they can't use it until they're in fourth gear, and I think that might have inspired Kamara's decision to take us to the line there, but nevertheless, it looks like Giusti trying to make a move. Oh, contact there between Taponen and Dominguez is going to be challenged by his teammate Pedro Claro. Pedro Claro in the black and orange Van Amersfoort car going round the outside of his teammate Uga Chukwu in the Pisney from Nikita Bedrin in the orange MP car. Here they come through turn 8 on the first lap of this restart. Giovanni Maschio was under threat himself from Kinato Lee, who got his best result of 12th yesterday. Uga Chukwu now on the defensive. He was on the offensive a little earlier in this lap. Now he's got Nikita Bedrin crawling all over the back of him. Those the last of the point scorers. Look what Rafa Kamara has done. Remember, push to pass is active. They can use it up to 5 times in this race, and this might be a place we start seeing it used down the start-finish straight in particular. Whoa! Someone looked like they went missing in the background there. At least went wide, at least. Yes, there they are at the top of screen. Now, is that one of the ARTs or Kick Motorsport cars? We'll clear that up in a second. Let's see what happens with the contact here. Taponen squeezing Dominguez. Oh, well, Dominguez felt the full force of that, didn't he? Maschio found himself going through a barrier. Wow. And shakes his head. Was not happy the fact he was given no space on the exit there. And then it was Nandavud Bidambakti, the car we saw going... in fact, it was Yaroslav Veselau, sorry, the car we saw going missing in the background. And he is now off the back of the field by 3.2 seconds. I didn't see the driver that Maschio was, who he was side by side with, which led him to go wide. Let's take a look at a replay here. This might have been something that happened whilst we were looking at other replays. That's Matteo De Paolo going side by side with Zach David, and Zach David has been left no option but to just run straight on. Matteo De Paolo in the wars again. Oh, wow. Well, Matteo De Paolo yesterday had damage after some sort of incident, I imagine, with Valerio Rinicella. I think that one might be looked at as well, because that Zach David is not going to be happy with at all. Matteo De Paolo, a little bit too ambitious. I think far too ambitious trying that move when the gap just wasn't there, as we go into the final 20 minutes of this race. Hard to overtake round here. Of course, you've got to try and find the gaps when they exist, but sometimes the doors are closed and you've got to accept that. Right, through Hugenholtz. Beautiful shots these, aren't they, as they come up through 2 and into Hugenholtz corner. There, Matteo De Paolo, who sits 15th after that. And that incident has been noted between he and Zach Davis. We'll see if there's anything further on that. So Kamara from Badua, the gap is 0.8 of a second. Last time round, Brando Badua was the fastest driver on the circuit. Maschio side by side. I always get very nervous when they go side by side through there. And Marta Garcia, the driver, going through. Wow, she's gained 8 places in this race. She's absolutely flying once again. Marta Garcia. Just not the pace in qualifying for her. Had that been quicker, then I think she would have had a chance to maybe reflect the results we saw from Spa. Wow, that was a move from Maschio. Great racing all round here, both giving each other the space required. And Marta Garcia now eyes on James Wharton, who you have to give credit to here. He's come back through the field. He once sat dead last in this race. Once was up there in the points, then has gone straight to the back. Now he's up in 22nd. He's got a long way to go to get points here, but we have seen Joshua Dirksen gain 17 places here twice. It can be done. Oh, there's a big lunge from a Santilok driver. Who was that? That was Enzo Peugeot. Well, I think threatening a lunge. He didn't quite do it in the end, trying to force a mistake from Ivan Dominguez more than anything. Yeah, had a look down the inside, didn't execute in the end. Enzo Peugeot just toying with the idea more than anything in the end. Gap at the front came down slightly between Kamara and Badua. Giusti 6/10 back from Badua. Stromstead still fourth, 7/10 of a gap over Taponen. Hwang Dat Soya in the sixth was under pressure from Zach David, a recovering Zach David. We'll keep an eye on the progress of Wharton. He's now gone up to 21st, so he's passed Ricky Liu, working with Carol Bass this weekend, GT driver and once European World Karting Champion, factory driver for the Tony Kart team. Great to see him in the paddock this weekend. We see the number 8 Tuukka Taponen coming round turn 12 and up to the final two corners. Here he is in shot behind him, Pedro Claro in the number 22 P6. This is a great little fight going on for fourth place. It stretches back to Enzo Peugeot here. The top three have escaped. Noah Stromstead leading the chasing pack. He is our lead rookie, will stand on the podium. The next rookie is Pedro Claro. I think he's the one to watch, really, because Claro is hunting down these two. The gap is 6/10 of a second. Taponen, well, last time round, the gap was pretty even, but Claro was 3/10 quicker than Stromstead. So Claro, the one to watch, third in this queue, hunting them down. As is behind them, let's have a look. Ugo Chukwu is next, of course, he's also in there, but Peugeot we have in there as well. Dominguez faster than Claro, than Stromstead, sorry. Ugo Chukwu next along. Not quite as fast as these guys, but just about on pace of them. Well, I think this gap is all going to condense into a very close five-way fight with what the times are showing me. And I think the next move is going to come from the driver third in queue. Here we go. I think Claro will know if he doesn't make a move, Dominguez will go for an attack on him. Down towards the final two corners. Push to pass. When will you use it? I think we see drivers going for moves. If they've used a push to pass, then they know they have to try and take advantage of it, and that's why we maybe are seeing drivers going for moves down the inside, round the outside. If they've used a push to pass, they only get 5 of them. They might think that, well, we'll have to take advantage of this and get something out of it. I think the top 3 are probably going to be saving theirs to the end of the race, or a safety car restart. What will Stromstead be thinking about his push to pass system? Will he be saving his? This is where it's hard for Stromstead. Speaking to the drivers earlier in the season, James Walton was telling me, when you're behind, it's easy to judge when the drivers in front of you are using push to pass. When you're the driver leading, you just have no reference as to when a driver behind you is using it, and you can't have the team telling you when they're using it either. You can get caught out very, very easily. Marti Garcia, by the way, is sort of going with James Walton through the pack here. She's just made another place. So interesting to watch how those two progress. She's just made another place. However, she is now under investigation for a false start. She's gone to 22nd, and usually those incidents end up with a penalty. They're usually slam dunks. Now, the incident at turn 1 with De Paulo, that's going to be investigated after the race. The Taponen incident and Dominguez incident will be investigated after the race likewise. Seems any of those, the Wharton incident will also be, the James Wharton and Dominguez incident, that'll also be investigated after the race. So this result will certainly be provisional. The Dominguez-Wharton incident happened on the opening lap, which saw Dominguez making contact with Wharton, tipping Wharton into a spin down at turn 9. So it will certainly be a provisional result, as it always is in motor racing. Nico Lacorte up to 18th. James Wharton has ticked off another driver now. He's gone up to P20. This is really impressive stuff. He's probably gained about 10 places since that spin. Got to give him credit for keeping his head and coming through the field. He's just doing the best he can here, and he's got another 13 minutes and 45 seconds to make more. What about the 74 here? Enzo Peugeot trying to line up a move. Meanwhile, Sandro Giusti has just done the fastest lap in 3rd place. Well, we've been watching this chasing pack, but the leaders have now closed down a gap. They're now split by 1.3 seconds. That gap was once a lot more. Rafa Kamara has been really controlling things, but the leaders are starting to get closer. Last time around, the fastest of them was Sandro Giusti in 3rd. There he is in the 10. Yesterday, he took the points. Maybe, you could argue, had the chance to make an ambitious move for 2nd. He drove a sensible race. In the background, this is a move for 9th from Nikita Bedrin in the 11 there. The orange MP car round the papaya livery of Ugo Chukwu, and that's a change for P9. Doubles his points with that move, Nikita Bedrin. 1 point becomes 2. Could be very crucial come the end of season, and Nikita Bedrin gets himself a position. Ugo Chukwu will just want to stay in the points here. However, he's got race winner Evan Gilter behind him. And there's not many drivers out on the grid that can call themselves race winners. 4 in total this season. Or 4 in terms of the drivers who have won in their career in FRECA. One of them being the driver that sits in 3rd place, Sandro Giusti. Down to 11 and 12, and can Sandro Giusti use that winning experience we saw him get last season to go and get past Brando Badua, who hasn't stood on a podium in FRECA. However, he has been in the points in every race. There's only one of 3 drivers to do that. Oh no, Roman Andriolo. Well, we saw him drop his back. Clearly he's picked up damage somewhere. Suspension damage perhaps, and that will be the end for him. On the push to pass, I think this is to Katapanen. He sees a gap round the outside, he sees an opportunity, and he wants to take advantage of it side by side with Stromsted, and he's round wide. Well, Stromsted was having absolutely none of that, and he's shown to Katapanen the gravel trap, and now Claro wants to get down the inside there of Tapanen. Can't find a way through. Now Claro will have to deal with the pressure of his teammate Ivan Dominguez and Enzo Peugeot. Enzo Peugeot now lining one up down into T7. Oh, there you can see almost contact between Peugeot and Dominguez. Opportunities are few and far between when it comes to overtaking around this circuit. Hence, oh, there we go. But there comes an opportunity. Peugeot down the inside of Dominguez. He saw an opportunity there, tried to take advantage of it, but Dominguez wise to it and does very well to hold on. And great racing between the pair. No contact at all between them. That's good side-by-side action between them. Now we come down to 11, and Peugeot thinking of it. Is he going to try the switchback out of here? Can't quite do it. However, they're just inviting Nikita Bedrin to the battle. Let's watch this again. So Stromsted is just telling Tuukka Tappinen give up, and he's going to say, have some of that. He's just going to force Tuukka Tappinen a little wide there. Well, Tappinen will argue that he was alongside, should have been given racing room. Stromsted will argue that he should have backed out. I think there'll be a lot of finger pointing on that run. Race replay almost. We're going to try this again. Are we going to get the same result? Yes, we are. And Tappinen is going to be shown the grass once more. There's going to be a bit of frustration building up, I think, in that 8 car, but I don't think we're going to see a different result. Stromsted looks like he'll probably just want to keep showing Tappinen the outside there. For a minute, Tappinen was ahead, though. He'll argue he should be getting given more room here. Down through 8 and 9, and it's once again just almost like a replay. Invited Claro on. I think we're seeing Tappinen using his push to pass to try and make this move, and it's not quite working so far. We've seen Stromsted going side by side already. He came out the wrong side, of course, of side-by-side action at Spa, where he was trying to get round the outside of Rafa Kamara, who politely showed him to the edge of the circuit on the last lap. Has he taken inspiration from that, I wonder, with these defensive moves on Tuukka Taponen? He's been given a black and white flag for his driving standards, so clearly it has been noted, and the stewards are telling him that they are not too impressed with what they're seeing. Here we go, James Wharton on the attack once more, and he's on the attack of Jesse Carrasquedo. Down the inside he goes, and that's another place gained for Wharton, who goes through into 19th. And I tell you what, he's looking at a queue of drivers ahead of him and a chance to make even more ground. James Wharton flying through the field here. Brando Badua 9/10 of a second back as Rafa Kamara puts in a personal best first sector. We're starting to see this gap just extend ever so slightly now. Here's Rafa Kamara. Has he been saving his tyres, I wonder? This is Enzo Deligny. The first time we'd see him finish outside of the points. Nico Lacorte in the Alpine Academy car, just trying to make himself down the inside of Valerio Rinicella. Couldn't quite make the move there. Kanato Lee, though, he's once again having a really good run. He's up to 15th place, having just passed Matteo De Paolo. But you're watching Enzo Deligny versus Teofil Nile, the battle for 12th place. Round the banking now, we're getting up to the business end of things. And this is Peugeot versus Dominguez. A slight break in the boxing match going on up front between Stromstead and Taponen. I don't think we've seen the end of that. It has been noted, though, a black and white flag given to Stromstead, who has shown Taponen the runoff area twice now, once with a bit of contact as well. So he really is running the line here, and Taponen will be very frustrated, I think, and will definitely want to go for this move again. It's building up to another overtake, I think. Taponen. Badua, meanwhile, is trying to respond from the pace of Kamara, who's built his gap to 1.2 seconds. Giusti holding a stable gap of 6/10 of a second. They're 7.3 seconds clear of this battle for fourth. And more cars joining the fight. Look, you've got Peugeot joining in 8th place. He's bringing with him Bedrin. Bedrin has had a superb race here. Really driving very well is Nikita. He's come from 19th on the grid, and he's got himself up to P9. This has been a superb drive from Nikita Bedrin. Who said you couldn't overtake at Zandvoort, eh? Nikita Bedrin has gained 10 places so far in this race, in a race where, yes, we've had a safety car. Other than that, it's been pretty clear running. Nikita Bedrin firing through the field. He finished a 5th and a 9th last year in the Monolith. And Nikita Bedrin, who said they were just struggling a little bit for pace this weekend, showing that they've got the race pace. Converting things really well. Got to say, very impressed with what he's done so far. Let's see if he can gain even more. He's only 6.5 tenths back from Enzo Peugeot, and then after that he'd be able to pick some drivers off, and he's just done a personal best first sector, so he's clearly really fired up. Out front, the gap's extending. Brando Badua, I fear, is just starting to struggle slightly in 2nd place. He's just done a first sector, which is 2 tenths off Rafa Kamara. Are his tyres starting to ever so slightly give up on him? Sandro Giusti sits right behind him. Is it a case of that, or is it a case of Rafa Kamara is just starting to show his experience now over Brando Badua? Sandro Giusti, another experienced driver, though, back for his 2nd season, will want to make use of that and go for a move. Taponen 4 tenths behind Stromstead. Is that close enough for him to go for a move? We'll monitor that, because we've got a battle going on that's even closer than that within the podium places. Here they come into Hugenholtz. Sandro Giusti has to be cautious as to where he makes this move. He has to wait for the right opportunity and then be very assertive. Make it in the right place at the right time, and he'll know that. That is why he's a Williams Driver Academy member. Let's see if he can go and put this move in for Brando Badua. This would be the best result of the season for the Van Amersfoort Racing team on home soil for them. Oh dear, that's Matteo De Paolo. They're investigating the right rear of that car, and is he going to take contact to the right rear? Yes. Oh, it's like almost, it's the scene of the crime from yesterday, isn't it? Valerio Rinicella and Matteo De Paolo at turn 10 once again. Well, yesterday there must have been contact between those two there, because Valerio Rinicella was off in the gravel there. Matteo De Paolo limped back with right front suspension damage. Today, it's Matteo De Paolo, it's roles reversed. It's Matteo De Paolo off in the gravel, and he limps back with damage, and Valerio Rinicella continues on. I only made my assumptions. It was an incident between those two yesterday, and those assumptions grow stronger. Right, Ugo Chukwu under pressure for that last points-paying position as Evan Gilter goes round the outside in the red and black ART car. Can he make the move? No. Lots of McLaren fans here today. They'll be rooting for him to stay inside the points. He had a lot of attention down at the autograph session. Lots of people in McLaren merch getting those signed by him. I'm sure his breakthrough weekend will come. It's not been this weekend for him. He's qualified well both days. Not a good race for him yesterday. Today he will, by his very high standards, be disappointed. But out front here we can see Pedro Claro now trying to move on to Kataponen. That's a move for P5. Great driving from the Van Amersfoort driver, who are taking this race by storm, as Taponen now responds down the inside at T10, and they're still side by side on the exit. To the left is Claro, to the right is Taponen, who now slots back in behind as we come down to 11. The tight right-hander, and now Taponen in a Van Amersfoort sandwich. Right behind them we have Peugeot, Dennis Bedrin and Ugo Chukwu, with just behind that Gilter. The battle doesn't end there as we go on to the final 2 laps of this race. It's Deligny and Théophile Nile. What's happened here? This is Nikhil Bora. I believe that's Kenato Lee. Then Edgar Pierre, and that's Nikhil Bora running wide, and that's going to be places gained for Kenato Lee. On the exit, Edgar Pierre. We have Jesse Calascado in there as well. I think that might have been Jesse Calascado also in there. Edgar Pierre likewise. Right, let's continue with this fight. Great fight it's been. This is now a battle for 5th. Noah Stromstead is cleared off. The gap out front, by the way, 2.3 seconds between Kamara and Badua, but Badua to Giusti, 4/10 of a second. It's really close in the fight for second still, but look at this fight. You lose a position, you could lose 3, as this is going to be possibly demonstrated for Nikita Bedrin, who's run wide, and he's been punished for it. Enzo Peugeot goes from P9 to P8. Good opportunistic driving from the young Frenchman, goes through to take that place away from Nikita Bedrin from MP Motorsport and get more points on the board from Santilok Racing. Well, a rare mistake from Nikita Bedrin. We don't see many of those from him, but nevertheless, it's been a great performance from him. He'd come from 19th on the grid in this one to gain so many places, but we're about to go on to the final lap of this race. And that is confirmation to the top left of screen that we are indeed on to the final lap of the race. Here they come now down the start-finish straight. This is 4th place at the front of screen. There's the confirmation of final lap board being shown to the drivers. And there you can see just moving out of touch there was the ART driver of Evan Gilter, Enzo Deligny, the Red Bull Junior, under all sorts of pressure here from Teofil Niall. They're fighting for P12 in this race. Out front is Rafa Kamara, leading from Brando Badua by 2.5 seconds. Half a second back from that, it is Sandro Giusti. Rafa Kamara, 2.6 seconds clear now. It's been a superlative drive from him. He's been unchallenged since he broke away, really. Brando Badua did put pressure on him at times at the front. He took a fantastic safety car restart, controlled the gap, controlled the pressure, and since he's been able to break away, he really has been unchallenged. He's been first or second in every single race this season. This will be his 4th race win this season as he continues to extend his gap in this championship. And for the 6th time in his FRECA career, Rafael Kamara will take the checkered flag first in the Formula Regional European Championship by Alpine to continue to extend his championship lead and go after that Formula Regional European Championship by Alpine title. Brando Badua takes his first podium in the championship, the best result for the Van Amersfoort racing team so far on home soil and on a special weekend for them where they welcome so many guests. And Alessandro Giusti, 2 podiums for him this season, on a season that hadn't really got going so far coming into this weekend. Now it really has got going for the Williams Academy member. But this weekend, once again, Rafael Kamara, well, we can say he's once again been unstoppable at times. 2nd place yesterday, pole position by half a second today, and he cruised round in the end to win by 2.1 seconds. What a drive it's turning into, what a season it's turning into. Can anyone stop him? And it's leaving a lot of the field just wondering how on earth he is managing to do this. But Rafa Kamara, it's not been all about him. He takes his 6th win in FRECA. You have to admire the ability he's showing, but you also have to admire the breakthrough of Brando Badua and the fact he's put Van Amersfoort Racing 2nd place for the first time this season and on the podium in their home race, just like they did here last year with Cas Havercourt. So very, very special result for them. There will be big celebrations on a day where they've welcomed over 50 guests. Sandro Giusti 3rd. Noah Stromstead gets a rookie win for the 4th time. Pedro Claro once again 2 top 5 finishes for him this weekend. Tuka Tapanen P6, 2 points finishes for him. Ivan Dominguez 7th makes it all 3 Van Amersfoort cars in the top 10. Enzo Peugeot 8th. Nikita Bedrin came from 19th to 9th. Ugo Ugachukwu in the points. Then Gilter, Deligny, Niall. James Wharton came from 30th up to 14th. Lee 15th. And then we had Lacorte, Pierre, David, Bora, Cadascado, Maschio, Garcia, Liu, Sawyer, Binambakti, Bula, Rinicella, Veselao, De Paolo, Andriolo, Benetton on finishers. You saw Giusti there finishing in 3rd place. 2 podiums for him. A 1st podium of the season for Brando Badua. Well done to him. I believe this has been a breakthrough weekend for him. He's been in the points every single race. He's always been qualifying in the top 10. He's always had qualifying sorted. Now, well, he's never had, it's qualifying that's been his issue, rather. Now he's got the races. Now he's got that sorted. I believe this is going to be a start of a real charge for him. And Rafa Kamara, well, how do we stop him is what the rest of the field ask for Rafa Kamara. He is just showing unbelievable pace, and he is the one that's always seeing that wave first so far. 4 times this season, 6 now in his career. That's just 2 away from the overall record. And in terms of points scored, he's well inside the top 10. He's nearly at 300 points now, which is what we've seen lots of good drivers scored. That's gonna, he had 284 coming into this in terms of points scored. That moves him just shy just 1 point shy of what Andrea Kimi Antonelli scored, and he's only around 50 points away of what Dino Beganovic scored during his time in this campaign. He's absolutely flying. Good drives through the field. James Wharton, his teammate, has to be given a lot of credit for the performance he put in. He won't take any points. The results reflect that he just had a bad race and dropped backwards. It was absolutely the opposite, wasn't he? He came from the back of the grid all the way through. One of the drivers of the race for me, in all honesty, James Wharton. Very unfortunate to have been tagged around, but what a performance from him. Marta Garcia, likewise, coming through the field again. A well done to her. Shame for the drivers that didn't quite see the flag, but they will come again at round 4 at the Hungaroring in 2 weeks' time on the 22nd and 23rd of June. When a driver like Rafa Kamara gets confidence like this going, it really can be very dangerous for the rest of the field. Some wondered why he was staying in this championship. Some questioned his decision to stay here and not move up with some of his compatriots to Formula 3, and why we maybe weren't seeing him racing now. I think we can see why that decision was taken now, because look at what this will be doing for his confidence. And when we do see him move on, he's just going to be flying with confidence, isn't he? It's a similar decision we saw some of the previous drivers take, an extra season at this level, and then using that experience to go and fight constantly at the front. He's no stranger to the front. We saw him fighting up well in the top 10 of the championship last year. Got on the top step a couple of times, of course, but Rafa Kamara can now call himself a winner 6 times in this championship, racking up the wins and just 2 away from joining Paul Aron and Gregoire Saucy at that record. It's been superb from him, and admirable to watch from the sidelines, it has to be said. And when you speak to him in the paddock, he is so cool, calm, collected, and just taking everything in his stride as well. You don't really feel like you're talking with someone who is going through what he's going through, and I say that as a pure compliment to him. He's just going through the motions almost, and to see him going through that with such confidence is really admirable, actually. But Alessandro Giusti will welcome him onto the podium first, and I think this is a driver, even in his body language there, you can see relief, I think, almost, or signs of it. 2 podiums done. It's a job done for him almost, and a big smile there from Brando Badua. Yes, I've made it onto the podium. That's what he would have wanted. It's been a long time coming, although we're only at round 3 for him. He really deserves that. And Rafa Kamara, well, it's becoming a familiar place for him. Once again on the top step, as our Prema Racing, who are leading now the Teams Championship, have been leading the Teams Championship. And they continue to do big things in Formula Regional European Championship by Alpine. And we cannot forget Noah Stromstead, 4th time we've seen him as a rookie winner, and did very well to hold on to the rookie win in that race. Now, 4th place overall, we've returned to the points. Now the national anthem of our winner, Rafa Kamara from Brazil. Great stuff from Rafa Kamara there. It's becoming a familiar sight, isn't it? But when you see a driver doing this well in a championship, you can only stand back and applaud it. Sandro Giusti, 3rd place for him. And it's been a great weekend for him, and I really look forward to seeing what he can do now with this. Brando Badua, well done to him. He was so happy after qualifying. He just said that was all was missing. There's a thing he said to me, it was all that was missing, and it was. He had a best qualifying of 9th before this, and once he got that sorted, it was always going to be a case that he could fight at the front. Now he's got that sorted. I think Brando Badua is going to be much more present on that podium. Well done to Rafa Kamara. Well done, Prema Racing. Once again, on that top step. And Noah Stromstead, RPM, say they want to fight for overall podiums, and they were not far away from doing that. Keith Donegan's outfit today. And we will get them all on to the podium for the picture, and now we reflect and look ahead to round 4, which will be at the Hungaroring on the 22nd and 23rd of June. From myself, Chris McCarthy, I thank you very much for your company, for your support this weekend. It's been superb to see such a huge turnout here at Zandvoort in person, all the support for the autograph session and everyone here. Thank you very much, and we look forward to seeing you at the Hungaroring in 2 weeks' time.